They would like to know who is the toughest opponent you have faced and what is your most memorable match?
So that means I'm supposed to talk about my loss, because toughest opponent is going to be somebody that beat me, I'm guessing. One of the toughest matches was actually last year's Worlds in singles. That was pretty epic. Obviously Tony, me and him, we play each other so much, we're literally in each other's heads at this point. Last year's Worlds was pretty epic too. It went down the wire. I think it went 10 games. Yeah, it went 10 games. So that was a pretty big one to lose to. And I play him more than anybody now, so obviously it's pretty easy to say that he would be my toughest right now. Back in the day, it used to be Fred, as I was a up-and-comer, being that I only played him once or twice a year. And so he was probably the toughest back in the day. So, yeah.
Are there any particular losses that affected you, like your most regrettable loss? Anything comes to mind?
No, I don't. One thing I've learned is when you lose, you learn a lot more than when you win. You always remember your losses, but at the same time, I never beat myself up on losses, because usually, if I'm playing good, then it's okay. If I'm playing bad, I write it off as I was playing bad. So, I'm a pretty good loser, I would say. I hate to say that, but I'm not. I don't dwell on it for forever, and it may hurt for a week, and then I move on, and I'm good to go. But one of the biggest losses that I remember was my first time in open doubles in Vegas. Me and Bobby playing Fred and Todd. We beat them 3 straight in the winners bracket, just smoked them, and it was the same thing that just happened at the P4P, and then. We didn't play again that day. The very next day we come in, we watch Fred and Todd play 2 or 3 matches. We watch Fred play a couple singles matches, and my first match was open doubles, and they smoked us 6 straight. They double dipped us. And we're like, me and Bobby are just looking at each other like, dude, we just raped them yesterday, and now we're getting smoked. So that one hurt, because that was the first time I was gonna win a major, Hall of Fame. So that one I could probably remember more than any of them.
What about the most memorable win then?
My first open singles at Tornado was pretty epic, because that was my lifelong dream. So that was definitely probably the coolest moment. The one at ITSF was pretty cool too, just because I beat Fred on his own table, which I knew was going to happen. But that one was pretty cool too. But yeah, I'd say my first Tornado open singles win, just because that's been my dream. And after I won it, it was like this feeling of just straight bliss, where you're so satisfied. There's nothing else to achieve, which was almost a burden too, because after I won, I was kind of like, well, what's next? What's the next level now?
Gotta keep pushing yourself, right?
Yeah.
Alright. How do you usually make adjustment in the middle of a game, especially when things aren't exactly going your way? Like in the latest tournament, we see you 2 games down against Kevin in the final. So, and then you came back. Is there any particular things that goes through your mind?
Yeah, I would say I'm one of the better comeback players, and when you're losing, there's obviously a reason, and sometimes when you're calculating how to come back, it doesn't always go to plan. One thing I've always learned when you have to come back is what you're doing is not working, so something's got to change. And I mean, it sounds simple, but in reality, it really is. Like what I did against Kevin was I started talking a little bit, and I put a little bug in his head, like, oh, don't let me win this game, dude. Like, it could be a bad day, and all that did was that made him think about it. All of a sudden now, just little things turn. And everything that I've computed the whole match, and I've learned what he was doing on me, I was then able to be a little bit more free to start blocking the things I wanted to block, to shoot the things I wanted to score. And then it also gave me a little bit of motivation. So I went in the 3rd game, I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. The 4th game, I beat him pretty good, and then the 5th game was actually a battle. But if you guys watch that match periodically throughout those last 3 games, I kept doing little subtle mentions that, let's make this a good match, man. Like, haha, I'm coming back. And sometimes it can be something very dramatic too. Like another good example was I was down 2-0 at the Guardian tournament in singles, and what I did is I was down, and the guy was just killing me everywhere. I mean, mainly just scoring 100% on me. And I called a timeout, and I just completely walked out of the finals area and just walked over to the window and just stared outside the window and was like, okay, you know, you're getting smashed by somebody you shouldn't be getting beat by. He's gonna score on you. I'm gonna take his 5. I'm gonna block his 5. I'm gonna let him score on me, and I'm not gonna care about it. I'm just gonna let it happen, but I'm gonna focus on his 5 and shut that down, and that's how I'm gonna come back and win this match. But you gotta give yourself hope when you're down. If you have no hope, you have no chance. So that's kind of the hardest thing that a lot of people can't have confidence, and they can't find a reason to win when you're getting beat so bad. And it doesn't feel good. Like against Kevin, I was feeling humiliated. You know, he's beating me everywhere. But you know, I found a reason to win at 2 games down, which is what made me come back.
Yeah, well, that was a great match.
Yeah, it was.
Well, so let's just say if you were to give the advice to us that there's only one tournament to attend, the best tournament, what would that be? What would you, in your opinion, be the best tournament to go to?
I mean, the vibe of the World Cup is probably par none. I mean, there's something about it that drives players to go back to it when there's no prize money. It costs you thousands of dollars to go there, and the whole world watches. You know, as far as the worldwide thing, that would probably be the coolest one to go see, to go participate in. Obviously, I'm a Tornado fan. You know, probably Las Vegas. That's going to be your funnest tournament. You're going to be able to go see a really awesome venue, town, city, and the tournament's great competition. Last year was some of the best competition in the world in one room. So that would be, both of those are kind of the top 2. Tornado Worlds is also awesome, but you know, at the same time, I think a lot of people like going to Vegas just for the environment.
Well, of course, we'd like to thank you for coming to Malaysia for our recent tournament. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about your experience, what you think about the tournament, the players, the level of gameplay, maybe if the venue is good this way, or what do you think about it?
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. You know, having it in a public venue is awesome. That's the first time I've actually played a tournament anywhere that wasn't in a bar or a hotel or like a big venue like a World Cup. But you know, you have a lot of, I saw people the whole time like on the second story just staring down and going like, what the heck is going on? You know, what is this? It's foosball. So it's a great way to get the word out. Also, the accessibility of the venue was amazing. Having the hotel there was perfect. Having all the food around was great. Plus shops, ice cream, whatever it is that you want, you got. The level of play was actually pretty good. You know, there was a couple of players that surprised me and you know, made me put my guard down. You know, and had to step it up a notch. And so that was actually really good. You know, in singles I did really well up until Kevin, but in doubles we had a couple good matches that were definitely, you know, people weren't scared to play us. So I love seeing that. I hate people that lose the match before they ever step in the ring. You know, so I was glad to see that. I was glad to see some people that were ready to, let's go. This is foosball. You know.
I understand your mom is also a foosball organizer and promoter as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, as a fellow promoter, do you have any advice or anything that you've learned along the way that you think you could give some tips to me?
Tips to you. You did pretty great, man. You know, it's a lot different over here than it is in America. You know, America, we're driven off of money. You know, I would say it's kind of changing as time goes, but we have been a money-driven sport in America. But I say you're doing a pretty damn good job, man. You know, I didn't have really any complaints. The only thing, I mean, you did a pretty good job as well as far as getting the word out and stuff like that. I mean, you had a really good turnout. You know, so if you the thing is when you produce a good tournament, people come back. So consistency is going to be your biggest
Challenge.
yeah, is to be consistent with everything that you do and make sure people get exactly what they plan on getting. And so far, you delivered that. I don't think there was really many complaints.
Thank you for that. So, last question.
Yes.
What's your ultimate dream of what foosball could be? What you hope foosball can
Well, I think we all have the same dream. I think everybody in here goes, what's the best thing that could happen to foosball? Be an Olympic sport. That's, I think we all have that same thought. I mean, how else could it get better? Olympians don't make a ton of money, but it's just the overall, success of foosball. That would be that'd be the ultimate thing for anybody in this world to play foosball and become an Olympic, athlete. And you got ping pong in there, so curling. Does anybody like curling? Not me.
Yeah.
So that's I think the ultimate goal. I mean, it'd be great to have people to be able to train their whole life and make a living off it. Obviously, that'd be really cool too. So I think just overall a presence, as long as foosball doesn't go downhill, is going to be a success. And it hasn't been. Lately, it's been doing just fine. Even in America, it's been slowly but surely growing. You guys over here are doing some of the best jobs in the whole world as far as bringing new players to the game and promoting it. And what China's doing is pretty epic as well with the school systems and stuff. And this might be a couple European countries, but that's what I see in foosball. If it got to an Olympic level, it would put us on the map to pretty much make us all super proud of what we do. I mean, I know we already are. I've been proud of what I do, even when people laugh when I say foosball. I'm still a perfectly proud person of what I do. So, being an Olympian would be probably the cherry on top of the sundae. So.
Amazing. Well, thank you for your time, Ryan.
For sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Well done.